What's up, brother? Welcome to Trust Me, Bro. How you doing today?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Pretty good. How'd your fantasy matchups work out this past weekend?
Bro, I went 3-1.
3-1. Very good.
Squeaked out
Nice.
squeaked out last night by point 0.1.
Mm.
Squeaked out another one by point 0.4.
Wow. By the decimals, huh?
Yeah,
Man,
man.
those are some close matchups, brother. Hell yeah.
Brother, I'm telling you. Hey, your KC pick on defense.
Yeah.
It came through. It came through. It
It's
was a
it.
little iffy. You
Yeah.
got a little iffy there, but those 5 sacks in the first half
hmm
helped.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
was that the defense you were playing on two of those that you squeaked by with?
Just one of them.
Oh,
Just
one
one
of
of
them.
them.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice, man.
But man, yeah,
Congrats.
it was down to it. How'd you do?
Pretty good. Well, I'm 2-2, so I'm still a half full guy. So yeah, I'm happy. That I
Nice.
won two of them. One of them
Yeah.
came right down to it. I won by 10 last night. I had Mahomes. He had Hurts. I had who was that number 6? Devonta Smith,
Yep.
and he had who's that? The running back for KC, number 10.
Pacheco.
Pacheco. Yeah,
Yep.
Pacheco. So
Yep.
anyway, I was up by I think like 10 going into it, but anyway, it canceled out each other's score, and I ended up winning by 10, so it all worked out. But it made the
Nice.
game interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. So happy to have at least won that one, and still in the hunt on all the leagues. I'm definitely still in the playoff hunt. I'm not eliminated from any leagues, so a couple of them I'm on the near the exit door. Let's put it that way. So my back's against the wall. I need
Yeah,
to win.
bro. The one I won by point 0.1.
Yeah.
That one it just not panned out for me this year, and
hmm
still kind of in it, but I pretty much need to
Yeah.
win out
Yeah.
to get into
Yeah.
the playoffs. So
Yeah, it's same
we'll
here,
see.
man. That's how I
Tough.
am in two of my leagues. I got to win out. If I no room for error there. If I can't slip,
Yep.
so
Yep.
got to win out. But in one of them, I'm got a comfortable lead, and then in the other one, I think I'm doing great. So
Yeah.
see.
Good.
We'll see.
Good. Good. That's why we do
All
this,
right,
man.
you know it. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get to some waiver wire picks. I don't have a whole lot. I wrote down. I think I got one QB. I got, let's see, one running back and one, two, three wide receivers and one tight end. So not a lot to speak of at this late
Yeah.
stage after 11 weeks of NFL football. So start me off with your quarterback, Craig.
Yeah. So, this is one that you actually poo-pooed a week or two ago, but he put up a good game. Jordan Love,
Yeah.
43% owned. He went 322 for 2 tutties. Um,
Yep.
looking back, he's had some, he's been pretty consistent. I think he's had one game under 10 points.
Yeah.
Um, so he's kind of held in there, had a pretty good game. It seems to kind of be one of those. He's not a rookie, but pretty much his rookie year.
Yeah.
Um, and he's kind of up and down. He's got Detroit, KC, and the New York Giants coming up. So,
hmm
I feel like all those teams he can, throw the ball around a little bit and put up some numbers for you. So, I
Yeah.
think he's a decent one at least for the next 3 games.
Yeah, totally agree. I've actually come back around on him, Craig, and like I said, I had
Yeah.
one quarterback written down, and that was the guy,
All
Jordan
right. There
Love,
you go.
right
There
there.
you go.
Yeah, he's 46% owned on the Yahoo side, and over like you said, over the past two games, he has 611 passing yards and 4 tutties. So
Yeah.
that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's respectable.
I
So,
mean, we'll take it. Especially I've talked about this, man. Just the way the QB market is right now. It's
hmm
slim pickings out there, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's getting even thinner with Burrow going out and
yep,
Kirk Cousins went out. Man, I mean, some of your flagship quarterbacks are just not out there anymore. So,
yeah,
um, it's getting a little thin. So,
right,
I
yeah.
think he's a decent one to kind of fill in the spot.
Yeah, totally agree, man. At this point, we can't be picky. I mean,
Yeah.
with so many injuries to the QB position, I mean, it may not be filet mignon, but it's something to eat. So, put in your
Exactly.
cart and go
Salisbury
to the
steak,
register.
whatever. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
um,
Yep.
yeah. Well, cool. I've got one more for you.
Okay.
This one, I'm gonna throw a caveat out here. Matt
Okay.
Stafford is 31% owned.
Yeah.
190 for one tutty this last game. Nothing great. He's putting up
Hmm.
double digits, but kind of that low, 10, 15 points. He's got Arizona, Cleveland, and Baltimore coming up. Arizona, I feel like he could put up a decent game, especially
Yeah.
divisional game. Cleveland
Hmm.
and Baltimore getting a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Come playoff time, come fantasy playoff time, he's got Washington, New Orleans, and the Giants.
Nice. Yeah.
So
Washington for sure. Everybody's balling against them.
everybody's balling against them, and the Giants are a
Hmm.
JV team, man. So
Yeah.
and New Orleans is not that fantastic either.
Yeah.
They'll
I think
allow
Marshawn
points.
Lattimore just went on, I think,
Yep.
IR maybe. So there's 4 games right there without their best DB. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not as scary a defense as they used to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's kind of one of those where may get you through if you got to use him. If not, he's a good
Hmm.
stash, man. He's a good stash to put on your bench, and come around playoff time, if you're starting somebody that's got a tough schedule, he might be a
Yeah.
good little plug-in for you.
Yeah, and another defense to target is Tampa Bay. I've been looking at all these
Mhm.
quarterbacks. Like when they had their best games, it was always against the Tampa Bay Bucks. So
Yeah.
that's a good one to target for playoff time.
Yep. Yep. Cool. Well, that's what I had for QBs.
Okay. Yeah,
Would you
very
say you
good.
have for running backs? One.
One running back. Yep.
Okay.
And so it's Zach Charbonnet of the
Yep.
Seahawks, 44% owned. I know it's the name we've brought up a few times on this show, but he's did double-digit fantasy points the past 2 games with 10 catches on 11 targets for 40 yards. And so what intrigues me there is that Kenneth Walker III is out with an oblique injury and probably out for Thanksgiving. I think they play the late game on Thanksgiving. So
Right.
got a strong feeling that it's going to be the Zach Charbonnet show on against the 49ers on Thanksgiving and maybe even beyond. We'll see what Kenneth Walker's oblique injury looks like.
Yeah. I don't know much about oblique injuries. He was my
Mm-hmm.
he was my number one running back too.
Yeah.
For the same reasons. But he's much more of a downhill runner. So
Mm-hmm.
if he can punch his
Right.
way in the end zone a couple times while Walker's out, assuming he's out, and it's a short week, good chance he probably
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
He could start stealing those goal line carries too, moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I think he's got some good upside. The problem is he's got San Fran, Dallas, San Fran.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's got tough sledding ahead of
Yeah,
him.
I was looking
Yeah.
at that. Like, wow, okay, so this this may be a little tough, but you never know, man. Like some people have their best
Mm-hmm.
games against some of those tougher defenses that you feel
Right.
like well, let me just sit him because of this. Then he scores 32 points on your bench, and you feel like an
Yeah.
idiot. So
Right.
you know, man.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
never know. And then I've seen him on do some angry runs. He just trucks people.
yeah,
So he's
yeah,
he's a baller. So we'll see what he can bring to the table. I mean, he might be a little this is an opportunity to shine. So this is it. So
yep. I
you don't
agree.
get to pick the games in front of you. You just got to play with what you got. So
Yeah, that's exactly right.
yeah.
That's exactly right. I had one more running back. This is
Okay.
more of a this I think you went through a couple weeks ago some stashes.
Yeah.
One that's just started to surface is Elijah Mitchell. 17%
Okay.
owned. He just started getting the ball again.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one I would go use a waiver wire pick on, but this is definitely one that so far wearing the 49ers uniform,
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey's been pretty healthy and he's been
Yeah.
pretty durable. We all
Right.
know Christian McCaffrey can get hurt,
Oh yeah.
so this is not a bad one. Just kind of stash if you're, sitting on some bench players that just never make it in your lineup. You're
Mm-hmm.
stacked at wide receiver, you're stacked at running back, whatever it is. Might be one to throw on
Yeah.
your bench just to see, because if Christian McCaffrey goes
Yeah.
out, he's probably the guy. Like they're starting to
Yeah.
work him back in.
Right.
I don't even remember
Yeah.
the other guy's name there that they kind of been working in.
Jordan something or other. I don't remember
Yeah,
his name either though. Yeah.
yeah, but when push comes to shove, Elijah Mitchell's the guy there. So
Yeah.
he's just one of those. I think maybe a good stash. If
Yep.
if something does happen to McCaffrey, run it down with him.
Yeah, I mean, because something does happen to McCaffrey, everybody's going to be running to the waiver wire to pick up Eli Mitchell, and you already got
Yep.
him on your bench. You're
Yep.
one step ahead of the game. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
that's a valuable handcuff right there to pick up.
Yeah.
And even if you don't own McCaffrey, just go ahead and have them and snake them, and have them ready to roll. So
Yep.
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So let's move on to wide receivers. I've got 3. So go ahead and hit me with your first one, Craig.
So my first one is Odell Beckham,
Yep. I had him
43%
written
owned.
down too.
Had a nice game, 4 for 116 last game. Next
Uh-huh.
game is against the Chargers. It's a night game. Odell Beckham seems to ball out at prime time. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick with Andrews going out. I think Beckham's kind of the next
Mhm.
guy in line to pick up some of those targets. So
Yeah.
I don't love the passing offense in Baltimore at all. It's pretty unpredictable. You don't know what's really going to happen there. But
Yeah, it's bad.
yeah, but I think he's for what's out there, I think he's a pretty good pickup.
Mhm. Yeah, totally agree. I had him written down too. 29% owned on the Yahoo side. Weeks 9 through 11. So mind you, over 3 games, he saw 16 targets, caught 10 of them for 212 yards and 2 tutties. But yeah, he's been producing double-digit fantasy points. 2 touchdowns mixed in there. Over the over 100 yards.
Yep.
This past game that he played against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he's a guy who's been producing double-digit fantasy points that's been left for dead on the waiver wire,
Yeah,
or nobody wants them. Yeah, you could do worse. So
You
yeah,
could do worse
very
for
good.
sure. Yep.
Yep. Okay, well I had him written down also, so I'll scroll back up. I was going to recycle a name that you've been bringing up a few times on this show. Josh Downs for the Colts,
Mhm.
only 50% owned on the Yahoo side. He's had a couple of down games, but he's got a favorable upcoming schedule. I didn't write down the names of the schedule, but it looks like at least 2 out of the next 3 look like good games for him.
Yeah.
So should be good.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I think one of them is Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think you're right. And I looked at him too. I've been saying his name enough, so I kind of left him off my list. But
Mhm.
man, he had a couple down games. He's had a knee injury. He's been battling through.
Yeah.
I think he's
Right.
he's getting over that. It's about time to kind of get back going. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that pick, man.
Yep.
I've got him on a couple of my squads, and there's a chance he's gonna get back into the lineup and start producing for me.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Who else you got?
Here's another one I brought up a couple times so far, but I think kind of as the season's progressed, name keeps
Uh-huh.
on coming back up. Is Khalil Shakir, 5% owned.
Oh yeah.
People, listen to me.
Sure. Right.
Listen, he's number 2
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
Buffalo. Gabe
Yeah.
Davis is not number 2. Shakir is number 2. So
Mhm.
he went 3 for 115 in the tutty. Last 3 games, he's been trips. Well, actually, last 3 out of 4, he's been triple digits. The guy's
Yeah.
getting the ball. He's getting his opportunities. He's a deep
Mhm.
threat. There's going to be one of those games where he goes off for 25, 30 points.
Yep. Shakira. Yeah, that guy's
Yep.
pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I saw him out there in my neighborhood league, and I actually have him on my watch list. And so
Yeah.
somebody I'm going to look for come waiver wire leftovers tomorrow morning and see if I can grab him.
Yep.
So yeah, you're right. It looks like Diggs is really frustrated with his usage. I think the past game, I mean, Diggs only had like 1 or 2 grabs for like 14 yards or something. So it all went to him. So yeah, he's a reliable target. Yep.
Agreed.
Nice. All right. So the last wide receiver I had written down was Jaden Reed for the Packers, only 36% owned. Weeks 10 and 11, he had 9 grabs on 11 targets for 130 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed the ball for 46 yards plus another tutty, and that's over a 2-game, look. But of those 2 games, I think he was in like the high teens, if not 20-point range. So he's been producing there. He's the only, I think, consistent wide receiver there. For that's basically we were talking about Jordan Love earlier, and why he's getting it done, and this is the guy right here he's throwing to, Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
So
he's the most consistent. I would agree with that.
Mhm.
Watson inconsistent. Dobbs
Yeah.
inconsistent. So,
Yep.
yeah, I agree with that, man. And they seem to be trying to get him the ball, let him make some
Yeah.
plays. So I like that one. Um, I've got another one to bring up here. I feel like I'm kind of recycling names at least, in the wide receiver category. But Noah Brown,
Yeah.
he was out last game, still 40% owned, so he's out there in 60% of the
Yeah.
leagues. He
Right.
went 30 points, 27 points in his last couple games. He's got Jacksonville coming up, who, I mean, their defense is okay. They're
Yeah.
pretty good, but that Houston offense, man, they're slinging the ball around. So Tank
Yeah.
Dell picked up some of the slack last week that when
Mm-hmm.
Noah Brown was on the field, but man, there's enough to
Yeah.
go around there.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, he's definitely somebody not to sleep on. You pick up Noah Brown and put
Hmm.
him in there. I mean, they should have him a primary in the three wide receiver sets. They shouldn't have Robert Woods out there. I mean,
Yeah,
why?
I agree.
It should be Noah Brown, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins.
Yep,
That
that's it.
those are your three wide receivers on that team.
Yeah.
So if Houston would do that on a consistent basis, I mean, absolutely, yeah, good pick. Anybody else?
Nope, that's all I got for wide
Okay.
receiver.
Yeah, same here. Fresh out of wide receivers. We've only got one tight end. How about you?
Yeah, I got one. Let's hear what
One.
you got, man. It's slim pickings out there, man. It is
Yeah.
slim
Okay.
pickings. I had Mark Andrews go down, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be a game time
Yeah.
decision for me.
Right. Well, speaking of the Ravens, I wrote down Isaiah Likely for the Ravens, only 4% owned. I mean, he's likely to start at tight end moving forward. So that's why I wrote him down. All right.
That's the name I had written down, and I completely agree with you. He's likely to
Yeah.
start. He's likely to
Yep.
see a few targets. He's,
Eh.
maybe less likely to
Yep.
see an end zone target, but you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
when Andrews has gone out, he's produced. He has been great,
Mm-hmm.
but he's put up some
Yeah.
numbers. So I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like I'm having a really, really hard time with some of these tight ends right now, and trying to figure out,
Yeah.
who's going to do anything. It's not even
Mm-hmm.
who's going to put up 20 points. Like, who's going to put up 5?
Right.
Maybe 10. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. So that's the only name. I had one more.
Okay.
I got one more. Hunter Henry. He's 15% owned.
Yeah, get back on that train. You don't like where it goes, but yeah,
I do not like where that train goes, but
yeah,
if Zappa starts,
uh-huh,
there's a chance that he could be, hitting Hunter Henry a little bit this weekend. So I don't know.
yeah,
Like,
sure,
if you want to flip a coin, one side's got Likely and the other one's got Henry on it. You know,
yeah,
those are the
yeah.
two.
That's where
Those
we're
are the
at.
two that I feel like could, at least put up a few points for you.
Yeah,
There's a chance that Conklin. I tried to call
predicted
it
last
last
week.
week.
I remember. Yeah,
And, and,
yeah,
and that dude, I don't think he saw a target until like the end of the third quarter or something. Like
yeah.
he was on the milk carton for a long
Right.
time. For that whole game. But there's a chance that he comes out and actually proves me right this week. So it's tough,
Yeah,
man. It's gonna be a game time decision for tight end. I'm gonna have to really think about this one.
yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, they're starting Tim Boyle, I
Hmm.
believe.
Hmm.
I think they finally decided to pull the plug on Zach Wilson and
Yeah.
demoted him to the third string quarterback, which they probably should have done that after maybe week 3. I don't know. It took them this long, but I was like, wait, Boyle's been on this team the whole time? I was like, you're just now putting him in there? Oh, really?
Do you think
You
it was
know?
when he tripped over and fell on the carpet? Do you think that was it?
I don't know, man. There's like 90 things that I could say that could have been it. So it's hard to say, man. Yeah.
uh,
Not an NFL quarterback, man. Not NFL
no,
quarterback. I don't know
no,
how he
man.
even got this far. Yeah.
Yeah, like he is ideal for the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
Ideal, man.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that is a XFL quarterback if I've ever seen one. NFL,
Exactly.
definitely not. Proved it.
No, not for that guy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for tight ends?
Yeah, man. That's all I got.
Okay. Yep. Same here. All right. So let's talk about we're going to do studs and duds. Okay. And so next week will be duds. This week we're going to talk about studs. And what we mean by studs is players that are on your squads that we're thankful that we've had so far this season. And so, how do you want to do this? Do you want me to just shoot through my list and then you go on over to your list, or
I mean, we can kind of go
what you
back
want to
and
do?
forth.
Okay, yeah, let's go back and forth.
Is this studs that we drafted, or is this studs that we just got?
Either way, somebody who's on your squad, doesn't matter if you drafted him, doesn't matter if you picked
Okay,
him up off the waiver wire,
all right.
but just
I'm gonna add a couple
somebody
then.
who, yeah, so, okay, somebody who's on your squad or one of your
Okay,
squads. I know we each play in 4 leagues, but people that are on your squads that you're happy with, that you're glad that they're employed on your team. So I like that idea. So we'll go back and forth. So we're going to talk about players that we're thankful for.
let's
And
go.
so I'm going to start off with wide receiver Christian Kirk for the Jags.
Yeah,
Um, so he's played 10 games because his team had a bye. At 7 of those 10 games, he's put up double-digit fantasy points, and of those 7, 2 of them were over 20, and 1 at 19. So almost 3. That
yeah,
were right around that 20 mark. So he's just consistent. That's
yeah,
what I like about Christian Kirk. I can plug him in. He's got a solid floor. You expect to get 14 as his floor, and then 20 plus as a ceiling. So he's
yeah.
somebody you can put in. He won't get you. He won't Houdini you. So happy with Christian Kirk.
Yep, he's solid. Speaking of that, man, Tyreek Hill. I only got him on one of my
Hmm.
squads. I kind of
Yeah.
employ that draft strategy of,
Hmm.
well, I got this guy, so let me get this guy. Like I don't want to have
Yeah.
overload of my top picks or whatever. I wish I
Right.
went all in on Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I
Me
honestly
too.
had the
Yeah.
shot in probably 3 of the
Hmm.
4 leagues, and
Yeah.
maybe 2 of the 4 actually, but I had the shot
Hmm.
at picking him, and I only
Right.
grabbed him in one. 6
Yeah.
games of plus 30.
Wow.
He's never let
Oof,
me down. You
man.
know,
Yeah. No.
when he didn't give me 30 plus points, it was 20 something.
Yeah.
Like the
Man,
dude
that's
is
amazing.
absolutely magic. Like every time
Hmm.
red zone flips over to the Miami Dolphins game, that dude's catching the ball.
Yep.
You know, it's
Yeah.
it's unreal.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, he's the type of guy that, yeah, looking back, you would have drafted him, in all 4 leagues, right
Yeah.
off the bat. He'd be the number one pick.
Yep.
He is the number one fantasy scoring wide receiver, throughout the season so far. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, he's amazing. Yep,
Absolutely.
very thankful for him. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. I'm thankful for Travis Kelsey with the Chiefs. So he's played. Let's see, I guess 11 games, or no, I'm sorry, 10 games. I think they had
Yeah.
a bye. And he went double digit in 8 out of 10 with 3 of them over 20. And he had 47 points in week 7. So I think that league probably had a few bonuses kick in there,
Yeah.
but yeah, had a monster week. So yeah, I'm happy with him.
Hey, man.
Yep.
Is he the only guy that can catch the ball? And even he had a couple drops
Yeah,
last night, but
dude, I know.
he's like the only guy that can catch the ball there, man. It's unreal. I just can't believe
Right.
that's what Mahomes has to deal with. Dude, I've got one for
Yep.
you.
Okay.
Cowboys D.
Oh yeah.
Cowboys
Yeah, it's
D, man.
fantastic.
5 games of plus 15 points,
Hmm.
6 games of plus 10 points.
Yeah.
A couple of those, one was over 30 points. In some leagues, it was 40.
Yeah.
This last week it was 22. It won me a couple games.
Hmm.
Some of those games I was saying was really close by point 4 that I won. I had the Cowboys
Yeah.
D going in that, and without that,
I,
that's a loss. So I'm
yeah.
very thankful for drafting the Cowboys. I never really drafted D. I always streamed Ds. So
Hmm.
definitely thankful for that one.
Yeah. They got Washington coming up. I've noticed that most defenses have their best game of the season against Washington, so they're
Yep.
going to eat on Thanksgiving for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Yep. That's good.
Put
Good
your
pick.
turkey pants on. Let's eat.
Yep. Yeah, and and speaking real quick of the Chiefs, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, why didn't the Chiefs just pay, Hill and just have nothing but league minimum veterans and rookies for the rest of the wide receivers?
Yeah.
Because that's basically the production they're getting out of the guys that they got.
Yeah.
People like Skankling, and hard man. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, they're
Yeah.
terrible. He
Seriously.
got no one to throw to. So
I know. I'm
yeah,
surprised they didn't
that's
go
what they
do
should have done.
something, before the draft or the trade deadline either.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, they should have.
yeah.
All right. So you talked about Cowboys D. I'm going to go on. I'm going to roll on to running back Alvin Kamara for the Saints, AK. So he started off with a suspension, but he's played only in 7 games, but in all 7 of them, double-digit fantasy points, with 3 of those out of 7 with 20+ points. And so happy with that guy. Good
Yeah.
production so far.
Man,
He's like
he's quietly producing.
solid.
He's
Yep.
quietly producing. He's not, doesn't light up the board a lot, but does enough receiving, does enough rushing, enough
Hmm.
touchdowns, to get you production. So
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. CD Lamb
Oh
for
yeah.
me, another
Yep.
one. I wish I would have drafted in more leagues, but I don't like to
Hmm.
overextend. But in the last what is this? The last 5 games, 21 points, 44, 31, 42, and then I think he had 16 this last game. It was kind of a little bit more of a quiet
Yeah.
game for him, but dude's been on a tear, man. Like
Oh yeah.
he's balling out. So um,
Yeah.
really has let me down this season. Last season, I had him on a squad where he was like 20 points,
Hmm.
3 points, 25 points, 4 points. It was just back
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
forth. It was such a roller coaster. But this year he's been solid.
Yeah, like last year he played like Higgins. This year he plays like Chase. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody you can count on.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, so you believed in him. Even though you had some bad luck last year, and you were handsomely rewarded.
That's
So
right.
good
That's
pick,
right.
fantastic. All right, next up I've got DJ Moore for the Bears, and so
Hmm.
I know that you're probably not very thankful for him. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know. I
mean,
mean,
with
so here.
Fields, I am.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say is, the
Mhm.
3 games with Fields that he's balled out, 20+ points, in 3 games. And
Yeah.
in week 5, he got 46 points. And
Yeah.
that's obviously hitting some escalators. I think he had like 2 touchdowns and 200+ yards. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that. I am. I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for it.
No, I agree, man. Like
Mm.
he's
Yeah.
when Fields is in there,
Hmm.
he seems to be that 15 plus guy, and that's what I want, man.
Yeah,
I want to be
that's
able to
right.
plug somebody in where I can confidently say, "There's 15 points."
Hmm.
I'm gonna plug in the rest of the slots. So I agree with that,
Yep.
man. Lately it's been a little bit down, but Travis Etienne, 5
Hmm.
games of plus 20 points. He's been pretty consistent,
Yeah.
man. Not only does he rush the ball, he gets goal line carries. Um,
Hmm.
he receives. He's a good receiving back. He probably gets 5 touches a game, or 5 catches a
Yeah.
game, and takes those for yardage too. So, he's been pretty solid. I think he's got some upside coming through the rest of the year. So I'm thankful for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, he's having a monster game, man. Monster year. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he's just been fantastic.
Hmm.
He's just been, the offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's the
Yep.
one. I don't even know how many touchdowns he's got in the season. It's got to be double digit by now. Man, the guy's just blowing it up.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Yep.
All right, next up I'm thankful for is George Kittle for the 49ers. 6 out of 10 games he's hit double digit fantasy points. With 3, I'm sorry, week 3, with 3 of them over 20. So of the 6 that he's done double digits, 3 of them are over 20. And then he also had a 19.85 point game. So, he might as well be 20, right? So
Yep.
therefore, 4 out of 6, basically 20
Yeah.
points or above. So yeah, George Kittle's been doing great lately.
Yeah.
Happy with
Yeah.
him.
And
Yeah.
I grabbed him off the waiver wire.
I saw that. Yeah. We
What?
got to ask Chuck this weekend.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
really?
Can
How'd you?
I
Why?
just get some honest
Yeah.
feedback here? What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We got to ask.
So and I had
Yep.
Kincaid going, and Kincaid's been pretty solid and
Mhm.
consistent, but
Yeah.
it's the Kittle show from now on, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
He's been
trying to
playing
trade.
better than Kelsey lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he really
great.
has.
3 games in a row. They're just fantastic.
Yeah. It looks like it probably is going to keep going, man. Like
Hmm.
they're kind of back. They went a little lull. They're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, man, I sat on this one for a while. And that's JT,
Uh huh.
Jonathan Taylor. But I'm
Okay.
glad I drafted him, man. Like a lot of people kind of drafted him and sat and let's see if he gets traded. Let's see if he ends up showing up. Let's see what happens. But in the last five
Yeah.
games, he's been, plus 10, and he's been pushing that, close to 20 mark. Um,
Hmm.
and he's just really taken back over that backfield. Zach Moss is on a tear for a while. He's really faded
Yeah.
off. He's not even, very relevant at this point. Um,
Hmm.
JT show.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
you know, glad to have him
Yeah.
on one of my squads.
Absolutely. Yeah, you were smart to take a chance there. Yeah, because a lot of people thought that maybe he would just hold out the whole season. I mean, there was a lot of
Hmm.
things in doubt. I
Yep.
hope he didn't want to pull. Who was that guy? I don't know, a bit Le'Veon Bell or something like that.
Yeah.
He tried
Yeah.
to
It
pull
was.
that.
Yeah.
Sat out the whole season. So there was some risk there. But there's
Eh,
only been one NFL
y-
player I
y-
can even think of ever to do that. So
Yeah,
good
and
that he
that
didn't.
may have weighed into it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he saw that, and Le'Veon Bell was just
Hmm.
garbage from then on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I just couldn't just play. Like
Yeah.
make my money
Yep.
while I can.
That's right, and
So,
sure enough, after he came off IR after week 4, they signed him a huge contract, and he's happy. So
yep,
he's a team man now. So yeah,
that's right.
he's happy. All right, next up is Josh Allen for quarterback for the Bills.
Yeah,
He's played 11 games, and in 8 of them he's gone over 20 points. So that's what I expect from a quarterback. So 8
yeah,
out of 11 over 20, and then week 4 he had 47.5. Week 5 he had 37.76, and week 8 he had 37.06. So
yeah,
yeah, 3 of those weeks he's getting you the high 30s,
yep,
high 40s even.
yeah,
So solid.
yeah. I'm
He's a
right.
number 1
I'm right there with you, man.
QB.
On my list as
Hmm.
well. I'm in one of my leagues, Josh Allen owner, and
Yep.
he's not been the same Josh Allen as he was years before. Like I've always had to go
Hmm.
against him. I never really had him.
Yeah,
This
me
year I
neither.
got him,
Yeah,
and he's
me
still
too. Same
producing.
thing.
But man, you watch him and you're like, damn, he's just missing
Yeah.
throws and led the league in
Hmm.
interceptions the last 5 years. I think like he's just
Right.
there's some downside, but the dude will put up fantasy points, and that's what we want for
Yeah.
fantasy football.
Yeah,
Bottom
exactly. I'm the
line.
same way as you. Same way as you, brother. I mean, I had never owned Josh Allen all these
Yeah,
years and always gone up against him, and I always end up getting, seeing the guy I'm playing score a ton of points on me. I'm like, man,
yeah.
all right, I'm
This
gonna get
year,
him this
this is
year.
the year.
Yep,
You know.
exactly. Yep.
Um,
He could.
yeah. Cool. Well, probably my last one is
Okay.
Tank Dell. I don't have the stats on him,
Tank Dell.
but you can go
Yep.
look those stats up because they are solid. Um,
Yeah.
Look up this last game and then just keep going back. Um, yeah,
Yep.
man, he's just come out
Yeah.
on fire. Right along with C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Stroud owner. Should have picked him up
Wish I was.
when I recommended him. In week 1,
Yeah.
but um,
Same.
you know, man, I could definitely use that guy in a couple of my squads. But we're talking about
Yeah.
Tank Dell here. He's kind of
Mm-hmm.
just right along with him. That guy is just balling and making some hard catches, making some tough catches. But he's just good for almost 100 yards and a tutty every game.
Yeah, totally agree. I actually had him written down too. I am a Tank Dell owner in one of my leagues, and I'll give you some of those stats. So 5 of his games, he's gone over 19 points. Um, let's see. He had week 3, he had 28.5. Week 9, 34.6. Week 11, which is the most recent week, 31.4. So yeah, he's just
Boom.
been on fire, man.
Yep.
Yeah, he reminds me of like the next Diggs. I think he's going to have
Yeah.
himself a really fantastic career. He's going to be
100%
great.
agree. 100%
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. It's a gem, man. I'm glad we found him during his rookie season.
Yep.
Got him on one of our squads at least. So
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've got just a couple more here. I'll rattle off. Tua for the Dolphins. 6 out of 10 games, he's gone over 20 points.
Yep.
So 60% of the time. And then, let's see, of those games, he got 45 points from me in week 1, 41 points for me in week 3, and 32 points for me in week 8. So he's been, putting up some big games. Of course, that's a product of him throwing the ball to Hill.
Yep.
So.
Yep. 60% of the time, 100% of the time.
Yep. And then
Yep.
I finally think I've cracked the riddle on Calvin Ridley. So I wrote him down only because
I
I'm
want to
thankful
hear
for 3
this.
of it. Okay, here's the riddle. Okay,
Okay.
so here it is. So I've cracked the riddle on Calvin Ridley. So he has 3 games that I'm thankful for, where he's gone over 20, and those are the games when Zay Jones plays. Go back and look.
Okay.
Go back and look for the games that Zay Jones was active and played. Those just happen to correspond to the weeks that Calvin Ridley went over 20.
Huh.
Go back and look at both of
Okay.
those guys.
All
So
right.
that's the key right there. You got Zay Jones on the field because he takes that, I don't know if it's the X or the Y or the Z, whatever, you want to call it, but
Yeah.
he's got this role on the offense. He's a field stretcher, right? And so Zay Jones is running down the field and he pulls off a piece of the defense. Then all of a sudden that opens up Ridley. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. That's just what's going on. And so that's the key. When Zay Jones is on the field, play Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I like it.
we
I appreciate
solved
that.
it. We solved it. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Laying some knowledge down, brother. I love it. It's
Yep,
good stuff.
exactly. There you go.
Good
And then
stuff.
let's see, to round things out, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my boy Keenan Allen for the
Oh
Chargers.
yeah. Yeah.
Nine out of his 10 games, he went double digit. Week 2, 34 points. Week 3, 53 points. Week 10, 43 points. And week 11, 30.
Ah,
So
man.
Keenan Allen has been amazing, man, having a great season. So
Yeah.
thankful for him,
Yeah.
his production.
I agree, man.
Yep.
Brother Allen. There's a couple
Yep.
of the brother Allens out there.
Got two Allen brothers here.
Yeah, man. Glad to
Yep.
see them on the list. No, he's been solid,
Yeah.
man. Like he's just.
Yeah.
I've never really been a Keenan Allen owner, and most of the time I'm
Mhm.
thankful for that because the dude's out for half the season. But this
Yeah.
year, man, paying off for you, brother. Good call.
Yeah, I know. I mean, last year I had him on one of my squads. I think he hurt his ankle. I don't know, week 1, week 2, something
Yeah.
like that. Maybe week 1. And the guy was sitting there, like they didn't even put him on IR. They just kept, teasing us every single week, saying, "Oh,
I hate
he's
that.
practicing limited practice, and then he's out every freaking
Yeah.
Sunday."
Yeah.
And so it just chewed up a roster spot for half the season. And he did come back towards the end, did okay,
Yeah.
But this is he didn't play like he did this season. So
Yep.
glad to have him.
Cool.
So.
Well, good
Yep.
stuff, brother.
All right.
Well, good luck out there on
Yes.
the waiver wire. We got a short
Yep.
week, man. What do we have? 3 games on Thursday and another game on Friday.
Yep.
So
That's
we
right.
got some action
Yeah.
coming up.
Yep, got some holiday football to look forward to,
Yeah.
and so get those waiver wire selections in, and we'll be back at you next Monday night to talk about folks to pick up off the waiver wire as well as our duds. This week we did studs. Next week we're going to do duds.
Yep.
It'll be our Festivus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is Thanksgiving. Next week,
yeah,
Festivus.
Festivus.
All right,
Exactly.
brother. Cool.
All right, brother. All right, my man. Have a good
All right.
night.
You too.
Peace.
All right. Later.